What up, what up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm with IJ and we are locked in. I want to know what's on your TV, because on mine, it's Brea, episode 3. We seen the crew. Everybody's out here. It's about 10,000 BC. We got the ring carbon dated that Eve left and Gavin found. We know Gavin can kind of see what's going on where they're located. We just don't know exactly where they're located. And that's what we're trying to figure out now, so we can send a drone in there and figure it out. But before we get into this episode, shout out to the notification gang. If you're new to the channel, you can be a part of it. Hit your subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Hit that like button. It's the easiest thing you can do. Now, I did get word that Brea won't be getting a season 2. And when you watch these episodes, I can kind of see why, but I still think it's a cool concept of the show. So let's jump into it. This is episode 3 of Brea. If you remember the 3 amigos, they were out in the woods looking for the ambulance. And I say the 3 amigos are Dr. Sam, Ty, and Eve. Now, while they were out there, they had to leave Sam because he fell off the cliff. He couldn't walk, and Ty was there. Now, Eve came back and they saved Josh. Josh is her son. He had that big wolf bite in him, you know. But now it seems like he's all good to go. All he needed was some antibiotics. Now, Eve comes over and she's asking, hey, how is Dr. Sam? And his daughter Riley is like, he's not that good. You guys left him in the woods. Well, he told her to leave. So it's not like they just left him. And Ty was out there. And Ty may have had like 1 or 2 bullets left to protect him. But Riley, she got her little Bluetooth speakers in, you know, the AirPods. And she's like, you left my dad. But it's like, hey, he told us to leave. You see everyone lined up because we're giving out rations for the food. They collected all the food that they had. Some people had like a head of lettuce out there, some ketchup and stuff. But there's a police officer. Well, she's really a parking lady. The first one that fell through. She's up here and she's giving out rations. And everybody's like, man, this isn't fair. We need more food than this. And I'm looking at it like, okay, we do have some food. I would have had me a stash of my own food that I collected, because the first day is really everyone for themselves until we get, some hierarchy and we actually get, to civilize ourselves. Now, people are getting antsy. Everybody's going to want more food than what the rations allowed them to have. So Ty, he does have that gun on him. So he's, he ain't pulled it out or nothing. He's just letting them know, you have to work with everybody. We got to split all this food amongst all of us. We don't even know how long we're going to be out here. And you talking about you want more? Come on, man. It's only day 2, day 3, maybe. Now, out of nowhere, a big sloth comes out. And this thing, it comes out, it's slow. So most people, they're probably going to see it and it's a bear. But when I seen that tail, I was like, nah, it couldn't be a bear. It had to be like a sloth or something else. But it comes out and it smells all of this food. And these foods have the food on the ground on a tarp. You should have put this in a vehicle or something that it could be protected, because now you can have bugs crawl up on it, all kinds of things. But this sloth, it makes short work of all this food and it tears everything up. I'm talking about this sloth is big as hell, and it's over here having a field day. Now, it is a sloth. It probably eats a little bit of meat, like maybe some bugs and stuff. But for the most part, all of that food, like the natural food, the lettuce and stuff, oh yeah, give me that. This is easy pickings. So now everybody's left with no food. Back to Gavin. We know that they're putting together this special drone that the Homeland Security has. And they're going to fly it into the sinkhole to get to this light. Now, Gavin comes in, he's looking at it like, okay, I can fly that. But Homeland Security is saying, yeah, that's nice. We understand you can fly that. But this isn't Independence Day where you just get the local drunk and have them come fly this because they used to be able to fly. No, you're not in the Air Force. You're not allowed to fly this. So Gavin, he's looking at it like, man, I'm probably like the only person in the world that could fly something like this, especially a prototype. So Gavin, he's recommending this guy named Levi Delgado. Now, they went to flight school. He's stationed over in Ramstein. I was at Spangdahlem, so I'm about a 45-minute drive from Ramstein. It was, get down there and back. But he said he transferred back to the States, to Vandenberg. Well, the military doesn't work like that. You don't just transfer. You have to PCS and you have to have orders. But if they need you to fly over there, especially a pilot, he's going to stay over there in Ramstein unless he has some mental issues. Then they'll get you up out of there. Everyone's trying to figure out what's going on. I told you guys, Scott is smarter than what people think he is. Just because he gets high a little bit, there's nothing wrong with that. He still knows the facts, and he's looking at that sloth like, man, this is about 10,000 years ago. Now, Eve agrees, and she's like, yeah, we may be in LA, because she seen the LA hills, the mountains and stuff, and was like, yeah, this kind of looks familiar. But she's telling all the people, look, all of the food is gone. What we're gonna have to do is actually go out there and start hunting. And people are like, what? Hunting? Because you know, all these are city folks. They ain't gonna know nothing about that. Especially with no weapons or anything. You just going out there and trying to make it happen. This could end very bad. We get a flashback to see how Levi and Gavin, they all interacted. Now, Izzy is calling Levi her uncle. It's not her real uncle, but you know, that's how close he was to the family. Now, he comes out and he's talking to Gavin, and we see Gavin throwing back a nice cold beer on a hot day. And he's telling Gavin, look, I'm transferring over to Ramstein, Germany. Again, you don't just transfer, you PCS, which is a permanent change of station. And he's like, I'm going over there. I just wanted you to hear it directly from me so you wouldn't hear it from anybody else. And Gavin, he's kind of upset, like, what? Why are you leaving? Everything is good here. But I mean, in the military, you don't really have a choice. Unless you're a first term airman, you can turn down your first set of orders. But this guy at least is a captain if he's flying planes. Now, it turns out they had Levi on the list. So they go ahead and bring him in. Homeland Security, hey, Air Force, we're going to need one of your good captains. We need a good pilot. We need him here now. He shows up. He sees Gavin. It's been a while since he transferred to Ramstein. So he comes in. He salutes Gavin with a all right salute. And then Gavin gives a sloppy salute like this. Like, hey, Gavin, how long were you in the military? That's why you can't fly the plane, because you don't even know how to salute. Look at him. See, hey, Gavin, you can't fly that plane. You don't even know how to render a proper salute, man. Get out of here. Y'all see that plaque back there? That's Mo from when I was in the Air Force. I wasn't an officer, but I was in the Air Force. Now, the team is going out there to hunt, but they aren't going out there in big groups. We just got Ty and Eve going out there, and she's making rabbit traps. When you guys are going out to do this, if you ever get in a situation, go in at least groups of 4 so you can have somebody watch you. If someone gets injured, you can have at least 2 people help carry, and then one person like leading and showing y'all where y'all need to go. But when you're going out here with 2 people, if either one of y'all gets separated, it's over. But she knows how to make traps because she grew up on a farm, a ranch type thing, you know, hunting little squirrels. So she's making the traps. She was riding horses, and Ty was like, man, that's amazing. Now, on Family Matters, we have Lucas and his mom, Mary Beth. Now, Lucas, he's out here. He may be the one with the drugs, and his mom was looking for him. So we thought Mary Beth was chasing a criminal, but it's really her son. And we seen that at the end of the episode. Now he's out here, he's just walking around through the woods. He don't know where he's going. He's trying to find somebody, find a signal, trying to find his way out of wherever they're at. Now Mary Beth catches up with him like, you shouldn't be out here by yourself. Again, no one should be alone out here. You don't know where you're at. Like, come on now. Y'all don't have any experience out here. But they get to talking. And, you know, he kind of resents his mom. And he's like, you know what? I don't need your help. She's like, I take that as you want me to come with you. So she's about to tag along. Now he starts to show his mom what he's discovered, and it's a little trap. And we've seen these ditches already because there was one where the saber-tooth fell in, and it has these spikes in it. And what you're going to do is cover it with little bitty sticks and stuff and, you know, debris. So when something runs over it, they don't see it, falls on it. So he's saying somebody is out here, and that's where we need to find. We need to find whoever made this so we can at least see, okay, what's going on here. Now, Dr. Sam, he wakes up. We know he's injured. Ty had to bring him back. Well, he wakes up and he tells his daughter Riley, oh yeah, you know, I'm feeling a little bit better, but I can't feel my legs. So he's potentially paralyzed. And he's telling her the only way we can see if I'm really paralyzed or not, you're gonna have to drain some fluid out of my spinal cord. And she's like, oh Dad, I can't do that. You're the doctor. I'm not even a registered nurse yet. But he's telling her, hey, at this point, it doesn't matter. You kind of know what you're doing, and that's better than somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, like Josh coming in here and like, hey, let me do it. No. Riley, we're going to need you to try to figure this out and just do what your dad says to get him through this. Ty and Eve, they're talking to each other, and she's giving her background of how she grew up and stuff. And then she asks Ty, well, I don't know anything about you. And he's like, well, we're out here hunting, so shh, be quiet. Now, they end up catching a rabbit, but when they catch this rabbit, all of a sudden, they start hearing something growling. I'm like, man, what in the world? It's a damn big ass bear over there. Ty's like, what do we do? She's like, do not run. Now they looking at the bear. Eve has that rabbit. We were supposed to be out here hunting. So she lets the rabbit go. She's like, don't run. Now run. You see the graphics of this bear. This is probably why they didn't get a season 2, but that's neither here or there. They hightail it, and this bear is after them. Now, most of the time, these bears aren't going to attack you unless you're either near their cub or in their, in the range of them hunting something. If you from a distance, just slowly back up and get up out of there. Now they run, and Ty's like, hey, up here, there's a cave. Now I'm thinking, a cave? How big is this cave? Because if it's a cave nearby and there's a bear, that's probably where the bear lives. But it's a small entrance. So they go in there. Eve is the last one. The bear swiping at her legs. But when they get in there, the bear causes, the cave to collapse. So now there's no way out. And they're just stuck in here like, oh my goodness, we're about to die in a damn cave. Mind you, they've been out here for at least 2 days. I think this is like day 2. Well, this would probably be day 3 because day 2 was the last episode. But they're out here. Everyone's clothes are still clean. Everyone's hair is still done. But Riley comes out the bus like, hey, I need y'all help. My dad in here, he's hurting. You got Josh standing up kind of grimacing. Oh, Scott, we got to help her. And Scott's like, man, I'm not a doctor. I don't know what to do. Like, I can come watch, but I really don't know what to do. Ty and Eve, they're in this cave. They got to get up. They got to find their way out of it. So they get up and they start walking, but they see a flashlight coming. They're like, oh, wait a minute. First thing Ty does is get that thing off his hip. You got to be prepared at all times. But it turns out it's Lucas and Mary Beth. They're like, we just seen a saber-tooth trap. So we came in this cave to see if we could find, who it belonged to. So now we have all 4 of them in the cave. No one knows how to get out of here. But what I just tell you guys, when you go out here, you need to go in groups of 4 in case somebody goes down. You can always have somebody with you. If you go off to use the bathroom, you go no more than 10 feet so I can keep my eye on you. Then you got these 2. So travel in 4s when you're out doing something like this, or at least 3, no less than 3. It's time for the operation, and Dr. Sam is going to tell his daughter Riley how to, do the procedure step by step. And she's like, how are we going to do that? It's going to hurt you. You're going to be in pain. And he's like, well, yeah, we do need to figure out something. And Scott, being the smart one, he says, hey, we can use this heroin since it's an opioid. And that'll cure the pain. She's like, you're going to be too high. It's like, man, we're not going to do a whole dose, just a little bit, just to numb the pain. So what they're going to do is get him high. And then he's going to have to stay conscious enough to tell her exactly what she needs to do. Back at Homeland Security, they're like, all right, this is the coordinates. This is where the light is in the sinkhole. This is where we need to go. Now, Gavin, we know he can see what's going on there. So for him, he's like, there was a river, the LA River. He's like, okay, this is how close they were. There was this rock. All right, good. Now they find a spot. It's about a mile north of where the actual accident is. So this is where they can land the drone pilot that Levi is going to do. Now, when you hear it's a mile north, that means it's going to be a hike whenever they land. So they're like, all right, this is what we can do. We need to get all the coordinates and stuff. Now, Gavin, he's about to talk to Levi and just make sure that he's confident, because you don't want someone going in here nervous. You want them to have the confidence and be level-headed so they can actually fly this and complete the mission, especially when you got your son and your ex-wife in there. So he pulls Levi off to the side and he's telling him, if anybody had to fly this, it had to be you. Because I know I'm good, but the only other person I could think of is you. Now, Levi starts to explain why he actually transferred to Ramstein. And he's saying because of everything that was going on between Eve and Gavin, he couldn't handle it. Now, that ain't have nothing to do with you, Levi. So why would you, that's not your relationship. That's between them. You just go on and get out of here. You know what I'm saying? But they're having a little heart to heart, and they're closing up all of the little open questions that they had on why he left. We got all the youngins in here, no adults, all the adults that were left. Ain't no one coming in here to check like, okay, let's, make sure that the doctor, the only doctor on the site is all right. They're just like, let the kids do it. Now the drugs kicked in and he's telling her to fill his lower lumbar. And this is where you got to drain the fluid. But when she starts draining it, no fluids come out. And he starts to pass out. So they're like, uh-oh, how are we going to do this when we don't have the doctor telling us what to do? That's when I would have stepped outside the bus. Like if I was Scott or something, like, okay, well, I told you, I'm not a doctor. I don't know what I could do. The group of 4, they're in the cave and they end up coming to some water. Now they're looking at it and they're like, man, where does this lead to? So, of course, the one black guy, they're like, hey, Ty, you You know what I'm saying? We not gonna go. You might need to go in that water and see if you could just see anything over there. Ty makes a good observation. Now there's algae in the water, and the only way algae can grow in the water is because it's going to need sunlight. Now it can get its minerals and nutrients from the water, but it's still going to need that sunlight to actually grow. And that's like anything in the world. It's going to need some type of light to finally grow. So of course he's like, man, all right, I guess I'll go in the water and we'll try to see what's on the other side if I can make it that far. Dr. Sam in here, he passed out. Riley's talking about, Dad, please wake up, please. Like, you can't just talk to him. If you really want him to be responsible, you're going to have to shake him a little bit. Like, hey, Pops, yeah, get up. You hear Scott talking about, I don't think that's working. Josh is like, hey, Scott, hey, chill, bro. Like, it's her dad, man. Ty comes back. He's like, hey, there's a way through, but there's something I got to show you. Now, they all get in this water. They go through it and they get out on the other side. Now, if you look at them, if you just got out of the water, you would be drenched. I'm talking about water dripping off you, clothes heavy. All this looks like they just wet their hair a little bit and had some water on them. The clothes don't seem heavy. Ty's just rolling up his sleeves like it's nothing. Like, come on, dog. Your clothes will be wet. Like, you would be drenched and you would have all that algae and stuff on you. But we need to see what they found. What they find is a body in here. It ain't even a body. It's just straight bones with a sweater on it. And you see marks on the wall. So it looks like somebody else has already fell in here before and they died. They were just marking down the days that they were here. So now the crew, they're looking at this like, do we tell anybody back at the camp or do we just keep this a secret? Because if word gets out that someone died in here, it's going to be a frenzy. Sam finally wakes up. Riley comes in there. Dad, are you okay? Like, where were you at that you were out of breath while you was just walking around by the bus? But he wakes up and he's like, yeah. And then you see his feet move just a little bit. He's like, oh, thank you, I'm not paralyzed. Because that would be one of the worst things, to be paralyzed out here. You got random animals just coming in here and you stuck in a bus and barely have any food. Whew. Thank you, Riley, for saving your dad's life. Thanks, Scott, for knowing that heroin had opioids. Now, everyone's talking. They're like, do we tell anybody back at the camp? Because, we about to starve. We supposed to be catching food. We had to let the rabbit go. And they're like, no one's going to starve. And it turns out they find some mushrooms growing on the side of a tree. Now, Eve, she grew up on a farm. She in the wilderness. So she knows a little bit about this. And she's looking at it and notices, oh, we can eat this. Now, it tastes a little bit better when it's cooked, but it's enough for all of us to eat. And if they can come back to this area, you can probably find other trees with those mushrooms on it. So at least they have some kind of food to hold them over. Now all we need to do is get more water and we might be set for a while. When they get back to the camp, they're giving everybody mushrooms. And Josh asks, did y'all find anybody out there? Now all four of them, they all look at each other and it's like, do we say anything? And Lucas, he says, nope, not a single soul. So I'm like, well, why'd y'all pause? Y'all must have seen something if y'all not answering. Like, if you seen somebody, that would have been, hey, we found a guy out there. We're going to get help. We're going to go over there tomorrow. Or is, hey, we didn't see nobody. But y'all didn't come back and say anything. Y'all just brought mushrooms. Something ain't adding up. But they keep it a secret because they don't want everybody to know that someone else was already here that's died. Now we're getting a little bit deeper into Mary Beth Lucas relationship. We know that she's his mother, but she comes over. She's like, I want to talk to you. He's like, I don't want nothing to do with you, Mom. She's like, I did what I had to do. And it turns out she shot his father. And he's like, you pulled the trigger. You had a choice. We don't know if he's dead or not, but she's like, I had to do it. So this is why Lucas really doesn't like his mom. And we already didn't like her because she's hiding food and stuff. Now, I would have been hiding food too. But she's hiding food and she's kind of talking bad to Josh. He's just a kid. Come on now. And now you chasing after your son and you done shot his father. So Lucas, he's making the right decision. You can't trust Mary Beth. I don't think any of us can. Now we're getting a little bit deeper with Ty also. Him and Eve, they've been building a closer bond. They've been helping each other out throughout the days. And that's just, you find someone that you can talk to and relate with. And that's going to make your life a little bit easier. So she's thanking him about the day. It turns out he has a brain tumor and it's just getting worse. So when we seen him in the woods earlier with the gun, he was going to shoot himself. That's because he's like, man, it's getting worse. And we're out here. There's no way that I'm gonna be able to cure it. So what he does is he tell Eve, here, I want you to hold on to this gun because he's not going to be stable with that. And you know, with the thoughts going through his mind and having this tumor, he might end up killing himself. So he gives Eve the gun. And this is just for his safety and everyone else's safety also. And then he leaves. Back at Homeland Security's headquarters, they're walking Levi through. Levi's flying the drone. He's going towards the light. And if you remember, the first time they sent the unmanned drone down there, it started going out because of the electromagnetic, whatever it is, the little shield down there, and it's going out. So when he gets there, he's breaking up. I can't hear you. I don't have control of the plane. Got to put it in manual mode. And everybody's like, oh man, we can't hear you. Now out of nowhere, Gavin just walks up front, puts on some communication headgear. Like, oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Levi, come here. I'm like, hey, bro, give me that back. You don't work here. You don't just come up here and put on the headgear. But the engine ends up catching on fire. Now he's in here going crazy. He got the plane in manual mode. He can't hold it. The engine's on fire. Then they just lose all communication with him. Everybody's like, oh man, dang, we lost Levi. Whoever does the budgeting for the Homeland Security is like, man, we lost a damn jet. That's what we lost. But yeah, we're gonna figure that out on the back end. Gavin, he's over here. He's hurt. Damn. I thought Levi was going to be good enough to do this, but we knew that it was an electromagnetic down there, and they should have sent more things down there and just seen what would happen if more electronics went down there instead of sending an actual man down there 2 days later. But for them, they like, man, he's gone. They show the open wilderness. We see the light, and it's like, dang. Just when we thought Levi was going to do his thing, he leaves us so soon. R.I.P. Levi. Wait a minute. It turns out he ejected from the plane. I guess when you get down there, you may not have control over the plane, but you can still move and stuff. So he ejects, parachutes into a tree, and we see him in here, and he wakes up. Now, true story, there was a plane crash in Germany I had to respond to. When we went out there, you could actually see the parachute in the trees from where the pilot ejected. So when I seen this, I was like, dang, I've actually seen that in real life. But Levi's alive. He went through, doesn't have a plane, and there ain't no telling how far off he is now. He was supposed to land a mile away. He could be 5, 10, 20, 100 miles away. We don't even know, but we know he's alive. There you go. Episode 3 of Brea. Let me know what you think. I got a question about Riley. Do you think you would have been able to drain that fluid out of your dad's spinal cord? I mean, I know you don't have a choice, because if not, then he could be paralyzed. So do you think you would have been able to do it effectively? And also, would you have let that rabbit go? Let me know what you guys think. I'm Mo.J. If you like the content on the channel, hit that like button, hit the subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I want to know what's on your TV.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.